Hey everyone, welcome to Simplilearn's YouTube channel. In this session, we will learn what is data analytics. Followed by the fundamentals of data analytics, we will go through the introduction to the most important data analytics tool, which is the Power BI. Once we understand the fundamentals of Power BI, we will try building charts and tables in Power BI, then how to build stories in Power BI. Then we will get to the most important part of this tutorial, which is how to build a real-time dashboard in Power BI. Hope I made myself clear with the agenda. Now, with that having said, if you are an aspiring data analyst looking out for the online training and certification from the best universities and industry experts. Also, let me tell you guys that we have daily updates on multiple technologies. If you're a tech geek in a continuous hunt for latest technological trends, then consider getting subscribed to our YouTube channel and don't forget to hit that bell icon to never miss an update from Simplilearn. With that, over to our training experts.
Now, why Power BI? So generally, visualization tools, reporting tools are required in order to create and prepare and analyze meaningful data. It could be a data for an organization. It could be a social media platform data. It could be a data from IoT devices, but something which needs to be analyzed and some intelligent inferences and data mining has to be done on top of it. Now imagine today we are in a world where terabytes of data and information is getting generated on an instantaneous basis, on minute by minute basis. So it becomes very essential to churn out something meaningful, something intelligent out of it. In the market, there are a lot of other tools which are available like Clix, Alteryx, Tableau and Power BI. So Power BI is a Microsoft product which is one of the most popular products, and it comes as a free to download product, Microsoft Power BI desktop, which is available, and I'll show you a couple of ways how you can install it on your machine. But why Power BI is popular is because it provides a lot of out of the box features, drag and drop features, which we will talk about in our subsequent sessions and classes. But today's session is primarily focused on giving you guys an introduction on what is the purpose of Power BI and what all problems it solves in the real world. So Power BI allows you to view, analyze and visualize huge quantities of data, and the data could be in any format: Excel, CSV, text, or it could be a direct connection to a database like SQL, MySQL, Azure, Oracle, anyone, IBM DB2. So it supports n number of data types or data sets, and it's very powerful in terms of data connectivity. So it uses powerful compression algorithms to import and cache the data within the .pbix file. So it's as convenient as a simple software. If suppose you import a data and then you prepare a report, and then you can easily share the reports with your peers or someone who's co-developing with you, either through Power BI cloud services, or even you can share the PBIX file in an email or through any other means, and you can share the data set with the concerned, and they can then work on the report independently. So there are different ways. There is no kind of a limitation for working on Power BI. There are multiple ways, and it is very fast. It is the most fast tool to work with Excel, because definitely Excel is also a Microsoft technology, so it works very fast on Excel based data and gives you numbers and reporting at a very high speed. So now once you have imported the data, Power BI allows you to model the data, allows you to work intelligently on the data. It allows you to model the data in a way that if you are importing data from multiple Excel sheets, importing data from multiple tables, you can easily create a relationship between those tables or data sets in Power BI, and then create visually appealing reports, meaningful reports, as I've been emphasizing, and make sense out of that data. No data in silos is of any use. Data in silo means a single worksheet or a single data set will not churn out any meaningful information until and unless you basically join it, club it, merge it, union it, append it with some other data sets, because a single data set will never be able to hold that much amount of information which is generally required for a important report. So it has easy drag and drop functionality with features that allow you to copy all formatting across similar visualizations. So just like in Microsoft Excel we use format painter to copy the format of one cell to another, similar features, very similar to Excel products or Microsoft products, they have provided that if you have applied a particular theme on a report, you can easily replicate that on any other report. The font, the header size, the background color, you don't need to do it again and again. So there's lot of reusable features which are also available. Okay, now as I said, Excel is a Microsoft product, Power BI is a Microsoft product, so they have intercompatibility. You can publish data from Excel to Power BI. Now, with the latest developments and enhancements, as of today, Excel has also plugged in a new feature called Power Pivot, which I'll show you later down the line. But that also allows you to do a quick analysis. You can't create, of course, complex reports or fancy reports like Power BI, but Power Pivot allows you to create, quick measures, quick functions, quick calculations on your data quickly only in Excel. So it's an Excel plugin. But whereas, Power BI is also compatible with Excel. So when you create a report in Power BI, it gives you inbuilt feature to export your Power BI report into Excel format directly. You don't need to do any programming for it. Also, you can easily publish, when you publish your Power BI reports, it allows you to give some inbuilt intelligence of analyzing your reports in Excel, and it gives you all those features of exporting your Power BI reports into Excel, which is not available in any other tool, or otherwise those tools have to create plugins, create add-ins, and probably they might charge for it. But Power BI comes with a lot of out-of-the-box features which are very, very helpful for analyzing data in Excel, and vice versa. Azure Cloud. Now Azure itself again is a Microsoft Cloud tech stack. So using Power BI with Azure allows you to analyze and share large volumes of data. So Azure, basically Azure database or Azure cloud servers are meant to hold huge amount of data, and Power BI allows you to have seamless connection. You can easily connect to Azure Data Lake. You can reduce the time it takes to get insights and increase collaboration between business analysts, data engineers, and data scientists. So Azure Data Lake becomes the central focal point where all your analysts, engineers can keep working on the centralized piece of data and churn out their reports. Data scientists' primarily job is to keep the data in a structured way, optimized way, optimize the input-output operations, disk operations, and memory utilization, so that the reports also get churned out in a faster manner. So every person has their own role in order to give a quick refreshable report, a quick rendered report. Any report which is taking huge amount of time to get rendered will not eventually be used by the business users, because then it does not solve the purpose. The report should be fast. Report should have appropriate filters, slices, and dices. You should be able to create the reports or dynamically, or you should be able to visualize the data dynamically. So all those visualization features are available in Power BI, and it works seamlessly. Either it is small data or huge data. It allows that you to work on those kind of data in a seamless fashion. Right. So this is just a very quick example of how a typical dashboard looks like. Dashboard is nothing but, you have clubbed a couple of multiple reports on a single page, and if you change a filter, a single filter on the page, all the reports will honor that filter and the numbers will change accordingly. So if you see in this example, there is a filter or a drop down of product ID, product name, employee name, or supervisor, or a date range. So whatever date range or filter you will apply, all the reports on this dashboard will get changed based on the filter you have selected. So Power BI allows you to get insights from data and turn insights into action to take data-driven business decision. And that is the ultimate goal of any visualization tool. That is the purpose for which visualization tools are bought and purchased by the organizations, and data is fed into them. Now, Power BI fetches data from factory sensors, social media sources to get access to real-time analytics, so that you are always ready to make timely business decisions. So basically, there is a feature of live connection or cut-off data connection. So either you can work on data which is residing on a machine and you can just work on the cut-off data. Like for example, there's a data which is available for sales 2017, 2018, and you're just working on a historical data. It's a cut-off data. Or it could be possible that you want to be connected live to a real-time IoT based sensor based data or social media data like Twitter, Facebook feeds, or you're connected to live Google worksheets. That is also possible. You just need to publish your Google sheet for a public domain, embed the URL into Power BI, and then whoever updates that Google sheet, automatically the Power BI report will also start honoring and consuming the new data which is added in the Google Sheet. So all those kind of real-time streaming analytics is also possible, and that is one big feature and very important feature of Power BI, which is widely used and has a very huge market acceptance and market utilization. Now, what is Power BI? Power BI is a business analytics service provided by Microsoft that lets you visualize your data and share insights, right? So earlier, Microsoft used to have a technology called SSAS. Now they have replaced actually SSAS and SSRS with Power BI. So basically, you can use Power BI on the data which is there in your Excel or any other data source, and the Power BI service or Power BI desktop basically creates a connection to those data sets and import it, cache it, and give you a handle to it in order to work with it. So you can create these fancy, meaningful visualizations. Like for example, there is a geographical map. If you are importing data for a country or a continent or a region, Power BI will automatically detect that it's a geographical information and give you a map with latitude, longitude information, and you just need to plot your numbers on the map. Either you can use bubbles or either you can use triangles or whatever data structure you want to use, but all the mapping will be available geographically. Then you can create pie charts, which is shown in this visualization. You can create tree maps. You can create cards where you can highlight the most important numbers like sales, total sales of your company across all the regions, or the growth chart, or the month on month sales of your organization, or total number of products or units sold. So whatever is important and to be highlighted for the management to take any meaningful decision or any insights you want to share, Power BI visualization tool, the Power BI visualization chart allows you to drag and drop and create wonderful reports. Okay. So what are the features of Power BI? So Power BI desktop is something, a standalone tool which you need to install on your machine. It allows you to build reports by accessing data easily. You do not need advanced report designing or query skills to build a report. Though yes, it is beneficial that if you know some SQL programming, analytical programming, or you are aware of advanced features of any analytical tool, that might help you, but that's not a showstopper. You can easily build reports in quick turnaround time without needing any technical background. You just need to have some analytical mindset, and you can create savvy visualization and analytical reports. Stream analytics, as I mentioned, you can create a live connection with any kind of data. It could be IoT, it could be media, social media, it could be Google Docs, it could be any other kind of live connection. It could be a live database connection itself. So any insertions or updations or deletions happening will automatically reflect in your report. Yes, multiple data sources, and that has to be the primary criteria for any tool to be popular. If any visualization tool is limited to certain data sets, then it will not be highly acceptable in the market. And custom visualizations, right? So as I showed you certain examples in the past, in the previous presentation, that feature is very important because someone might want to look at the KPIs from a different perspective. Some management might want to look at the KPIs from a different perspective. So you need to have that capability to create different visualization from the same data set. Now let's take a look at how to install Power BI desktop on your machine. So basically what you need to do is you need to go to this URL, powerbi.microsoft.com enus desktop, okay, and you need to just enter this. Now you can download it for free, so just click over here and it will open Microsoft Store. So basically now what Microsoft have done in the latest operating systems is that when you are trying to download, you can actually directly go to the Microsoft Store and search for Power BI. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. Right here. So Power BI desktop in Microsoft Store. For me, it's already installed, so it's asking me to open it. I'll open it in a while, but for anyone who is not installed, he will see the button of install over here, and it will automatically install in your machine, and then you can easily go and open Power BI desktop. Now if I click open over here, now this is the UI of the Power BI desktop. I'm not going to go right now in creating reports right away. We will talk about that in a subsequent session with sample data sets, and we will cover the features of Power BI desktop one by one. But this is what it is. This is the whole tool of Power BI, which is having the visualization pane. All the different visualizations are can be created from this pane. Then this is the pane which allows you to select the data fields. Then there is a report view, data view, and relationship view, the data model view, where multiple relationships you can create. You can view the data in the grid of the tables which you will create, and the reports. So you can create multiple reports on multiple pages. You can keep adding pages. Either you can create multiple reports on a single page and it will become a dashboard, or you can create separate independent reports on the single page. And these are the menu options which we will talk about. How you can change color scheming, you can do data modeling, you can create new reports, and you can also transform data, which is the biggest feature. Extract, transform, and load the data, apply different logic, changing data types, massaging the information, creating new joins, appending the data, adding new columns, etc., etc. That is what you can do in transform data. So this itself is a whole different world. It's a dedicated topic. So we will talk about that in our subsequent sessions.
Simplilearn's postgraduate program in data analytics from the Purdue University in collaboration with IBM should be the right choice. For more details on this program, use the link in the description box below.
Now, let's understand what Power BI Dashboard is. Power BI Dashboard is a single-page visualization to tell a story. Here on the screen you can see there's a dashboard which has been published on Power BI service. There are multiple charts and graphs that you can see. The visualizations on a dashboard are generated from reports, and each report is based on one dataset. A single-page dashboard is known as a canvas. The visualizations you see on the dashboard are called tiles, and each of these tiles are pinned to the dashboard by report designers. Today, we'll be covering the following dashboard that you see on the screen. It will be a 3-page report where we will be analyzing the Superstore sample data. As you can see, there are 3 tabs. Now let me move over to our dataset. So our Superstore sample dataset is in the form of an Excel file. You can see there are multiple columns. You can see there's order date, shipment date, the mode of shipment, customer's first name and last name, the segment to which the customer belonged to, country of the customer, the city, state, and if you go towards the end, you can see there are the different product names, the sales, quantity sold, discount, and the profit. So the report that you see here and the one which we are going to create might vary a little in terms of the color formatting and the spacing, so you need not worry about that. Now let me go ahead and bring up a new workspace. So I'll go to File, click on New. This will take some time to bring up our new workspace. Now it will ask you for trying the free version, or if you want you can go ahead and sign in. I'll just close this. So here is our new workspace. Before creating the dashboard, we need to make some changes to our Superstore dataset. Using the features of Power BI Desktop, first we'll extract the year, month and quarter values from the order date column. I'll go to Get Data tab, click on Excel as my source. I'll locate my file, it's on desktop, click on Open. This might take some time to load the dataset. I'll select the orders sheet. You can see the preview of our data here. I'll go ahead and click on Load. This will take some time to load the dataset onto Power BI Desktop. I think we have successfully loaded our dataset. You can check that by going to the Data tab. So here is our dataset. First, let's make some changes in the format of the order date and the shipment date. I'll click on the order date. Under the Modeling tab, we have this data type and the format. I'll click on the drill down option. Under date and time, now let's choose the first one, which is in the format of DDMMYYYY. I'll click on it. As you can see, our order date column has been changed to that particular format. Similarly, I'll select the ship date column, go to the format option. Under date and time, I'll click on the first one. Here you can see even the ship date column has been changed to that particular format. Now let's extract the month values from the order date column. To do that, right click on the order date column, select new column. So this will create a new column if you go to the end. So there's a new column. Rename this column as month, and since we want the month value from the order date column, I'll search for order date. Dot, since I want the month, I'll select month. Now if I hit enter, it will give me the month values from the order date column. Similarly, if you want to get the quarter values from the order date, right click, select new column, rename the column as quarter, then choose the order date column followed by the quarter name. Hit enter. So you can see you have a quarter column and it has all the values of the quarter to which the date belongs to. Now let me go ahead and create one more column. This time we'll create a new column for the order year. This time we'll extract the order year values. So let me rename it as year. We'll continue with the same procedure. I'll look for the order date and then select the year. Hit enter. So it gives you only the year values on which the order was placed. Now let's find which day of the week was the order placed. So we need to use the weekday function and give the order date as parameter, followed by which day you want the week to start with. I'll show you how to do that. So I'll click on order date, then select new column. Let's rename this column as day of week. I'll use the weekday function of Power BI. You can hit tab to finish. I'll look for my order date column, comma. I'll choose 2 here since I want my week to start with Monday and end on a Sunday. Hit enter. So you can see we have the day of the week column. So the idea to create this day of week column is to find out if the order was placed on a weekday or a weekend. Now let me go ahead and create one more new column. Let's name this column as weekday or a weekend. I'll use an if clause and pass in my parameters. For logical test, I'll use the day of the week column. So I'll search for orders and then look for day of week. If this day of the week is equal to 6, which means if it's a Saturday, or I'm using the or operator, if the day of week is a Sunday, that is 7, then it's a weekend, else it's a weekday. I'll close the bracket, hit enter. So you can see we have our weekday and weekend column. So moving ahead, another thing we can do is we can find the total number of days it took for the shipment of the product. This can be done using the datediff function of Power BI. So let me show you how you can do that. I'll click on any column, right click, go to new column. Let's rename the column as days for shipment. Then I'll use the datediff function. I'll give my starting date, which is the order date. So I'll search for order date, followed by the second date will be our shipment date, which is ship date, and the day. I'll hit enter. So you can see here it gives us the total number of days it took for the shipment of the product. Now let's create a full name column where we will concatenate the first name and the last name of the customer. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll create a new column. Let me rename the column as full name. Then I'll take the first name from the orders table, use the ampersand, followed by a space using inverted commas, followed by another ampersand and the last name. I hit enter. You can see we have a full name column. If you go back, so there were two columns in the name of first name and last name. Now we have merged both the columns into a single column named full name, and you can see the first name, space and a last name. Now let me give the sales column a currency value. So I'll select the sales column. Here under general, if I go to currency, I can see there are multiple currency symbols. Choose whatever you want. For this video, I'll take $English United States. You can see our sales column is now represented by a dollar value. Similarly, let me make some changes to the profit column. As you can see, there are multiple decimal values for each profit. So let's standardize it. So I'll select the profit column, and this is where you can standardize it. Now it's auto. So let me make it 2 decimal places. So our data is ready now. Let's go to the report view and start building our reports. Before that, under the model view, you can see the new columns that we had created. You can see there's weekday, weekend, there's year, there's quarter column, month column. The same you can see under the report view as well. Under fields, you can see these are the columns that we created: days of shipment, day of week, quarter, month, weekday or weekend, and year. Now we are under the report view. First, let me go ahead and create a text box. So under the home tab, you have the text box. I'll select that. Let me stretch it a bit. We'll give a title, sales dashboard. I'll select this and increase the size to, let's say, 28. We make it bold and center align it. Also, under the visualizations tab, under background, we'll add a background color to this text box. Let me select this blue color and let me make the font as white. So now we have our title ready. So under general, you can decrease the height of the text box. Let me make it as 70. First, let us create a new card from the visualizations panel. So under visualizations, there's an option to create new card. I'll click on it. Let me resize. I'll move it to the top. We'll see the total amount of sales or the total revenue that was generated from the sales. After selecting the card, I'll choose sales onto fields. So here you can see it gives you the total sales that were made, so which is nearly $2.3 million. If I go to the Format tab under Data Label, let me switch on the border. Under Title, you can give a new title, for example, Total Revenue. Hit Enter. Now you can increase the text size to say 15 and centerline it. You can also change the color of the sales value. So under Data Label, under Colors, you can choose whichever color you want. Similarly, let's create one more card to find the total number of units that were sold. I'll copy the same card, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'll move it a little below. Now I'll remove the sales column from the fields and add the quantity column onto fields. Again, under title, I'll edit this title as total quantity sold. Let me create one more card where we will see the total amount of profit that were made. I'll select this. I'll remove the quantity column and add profit. Under the Format tab, under Title, I'll make this as total profit. Hit Enter. Stretch it a bit so that you can see the total amount of profit that were made. Now, let me add a slicer wherein we'll have the order date column. So I'll add the order date column onto fields. So you can see here we have the order date column, and under slicer header, let me increase the text size to 15 and let's switch on the border. You can also give a title to the slicer. So under the Format tab, go to Title, switch it on, and we'll give a title text as Slicer by Order Date. Scroll down, I'll center align it and increase the text size to 15. Now if you want, you can also change the date colors to blue. So under Date Inputs, you can go to Font Color and select any blue color. Now let's create a line and stacked column chart to visualize sales and profit by each year, each month and each quarter. So from the Visualizations tab, let me select Line and Stacked Column Chart. I'll resize this. After that, let me add the order date column onto the shared axis. We'll drag the sales onto column values, and under line values, I'll take the profit column. So here you can see we have the sales and profit by each year. The bars represent the sales and this line represents the profit it made for each year. Let me go to the Format tab and make some changes to the data colors. Let the color of the profit remain the same, but the bars, I'll choose a custom color, give a hexadecimal value like 196273, hit enter. So we have successfully changed the color of the bars. Power BI has an interesting feature where you can drill down the sales by each year, each month, each quarter, or by days. So let me show you. So on the top, it shows you go to the next level in the hierarchy. So if I click on this, Here you can see the sales and the profit that were made for each quarter in every year. Quarter 4 for every year made the highest amount of sales and the profit. Similarly, if I drill down further, you can see, let me expand it, you can see by month. This is for each month over all the years how much sales were made. You can check November month gave us the highest amount of sales and December month gave us the highest amount of profit. Similarly, you can still go to the next hierarchy. Here you can see the sales and the profit made for each day over all the years. So day 17 made the highest amount of sales and day 23 gave us the highest amount of profit. If you see the lowest sales and the profit, you can see order date 25 gave us the lowest amount of profit, and similarly you can see day 29 gave us the lowest amount of sales. Now you can also go to the Format tab and switch on the data labels. So you can see here in 2014 we got nearly 49.5k profit and nearly $0.48 million sales. Similarly, in 2015 we had nearly 61.6k profit and 0.47 million sales, and so on. Now let me go ahead to the Format tab and switch on the border. Let me now create a clustered column chart for sales by year and quarter. So from the visualizations, let's select clustered column chart. Let me resize this a bit. And under axis, we'll add the year column. So I'll drag year onto axis. Under legend, I'll take the quarter column. And under values, I'll choose sales. So you can see here the sales that were made under each quarter for each year. This picture clearly says quarter 4 for every year made the highest amount of sales and quarter 1 made the lowest. Let me go to the Format tab and I'll go to the data colors. Let's change the colors for each of these quarters. We'll be using hexadecimal values. So under custom colors for quarter 1, let me select hexadecimal value as follows. So for example, PF D6 D9. Similarly for quarter 2, I'll select 6D9 DA6. For quarter 3, and finally for quarter 4, I'll choose a little darker color. So here is how our clustered column chart looks like, and we can see the sales by year and quarter. Now let me go ahead and let's add a border. Now we'll analyze the sales by each state. So for that, we'll use field map. So I'll click on field map. Let me resize it. Now let me add the state column onto location. Under tooltips, I'll add the sales column. Let me expand it. So you can see here we have the map which shows the sales by each state. Now let's do some color formatting to this. I'll go to the Format tab, click on Add Colors, and blue is the default color. There's an additional option where you can use conditional formatting. So I'll use that. So it gives you the option to choose your color between maximum value and the minimum value. You can also choose this diverging option where you get a center value or a mid value as well. Now for the minimum value, I'll choose a color. Again, I'll use a custom color. It will be similar to a green color. I'll hit OK. Then let's use some orange color for the mid value range. For example, EB. And similarly, for the maximum value, we'll use a little darker color which looks similar to red. Click enter. So now we have defined our color scheme. Let's click on OK. Let's zoom out. So you can see The states which are in green color made the lowest amount of sales, while those which are in orange or in red made the highest amount of sales. So in this example, you can see California had the highest amount of sales. Similarly, New York is next, is just below California with the amount of sales, followed by Texas. We'll go back. Let me also add a border to this. Similarly, you can also select the profit column or the units sold column to see the units or the profit that were sold by each state. So let me now go ahead and create a donut chart. In that donut chart, we'll analyze the sales and profit by each segment. So under visualizations, I'll click on donut chart. So under legend, I'll add the segment column. Under values, I'll take the sales column, and we also want the profit, so I'll take the profit column onto tooltips. So you can see we have our donut chart prepared, and you can see the sales and profit by each segment. Let me expand this. The donut chart indicates consumer segment made the highest amount of sales and profit, while home office segment made the lowest. I'll go back. Let me go to the format tab, and we'll make some formatting to our data. Let's change the color of all the segments. Choose custom color. Let's give a color coding as 1558C. Similarly, we'll change the color for corporate segment as well. Let's take a gray color. And finally, we'll change the color for home office as well. I'll also switch on the border. So we have our donut chart prepared. Now let's move ahead and create a pie chart to analyze the profit and sales by each category of products. So under visualizations, I'll select pie chart. I'll drag the category column onto legend. Under values, I'll take the profit column, and under tooltips, I'll take the sales column. So you can see we have a simple pie chart that tells you the profit and the sales that were made by each category. As it's evident, category technology made the highest amount of sales and profit, while furniture category made the lowest amount of profit and sales. I'll go back. Under format, I'll change the data colors. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll use custom colors and give a hexadecimal color value. Similarly, for office supplies, I'll take another hexadecimal value. And finally, we'll change the color of the furniture category. Also, let's give a border. So we have a pie chart prepared that tells you the profit and sales by each category of products. Now we are done with our first sales dashboard. So I can go ahead and rename this tab as overall sales. Next, we are going to analyze the sales, profit, quantity sold, and all of these by taking region and the state as filters. So we'll continue with the same drill. First, I'll create a text box. So under home menu, I'll go to text box. I'll stretch this. I'll give a title to this page, for example, region and state level analysis. Let me make it bold, and I'll increase the size to 28, make it center aligned. We'll make the text as white, and under visualizations, let's give a background color. I'll choose this blue color. So let me go ahead and create 3 slicers, a region slicer, a state slicer, and a year slicer. So under visualizations, I'll click on slicer. Let me resize, move it on top, and for region slicer I need to add region onto fields. So you can see we have a region filter now. Let's do some formatting to this. Under slicer header, let me make the font color white and let's give a background, let's say blue, and let me increase the text size to say 15. You can also choose a font family. Let's go for Calibri, and you can increase the size of the items. Let's increase the text size to say 15, and let's give a border. So now you have the region slicer ready. Let me copy paste this. Next, we'll create the state slicer. So I'll remove region from here and add state onto the field. So you can see we have the state slicer ready. Similarly, you can also go ahead and create a year slicer where you can analyze the sales and profit or quantity by year. I'll remove state from here and I'll drag the year column onto field. You can see we have all the 4 years from 2014 to 2017. Now sometimes it might be difficult for you to scroll through all the values present in a slicer. For example, in the state slicer, you can see there are multiple states. And if you want to filter your report by a particular state, you have to always scroll down or scroll up and check manually where the state is. So Power BI gives you this feature where you can use the search option. So if I click on this, you can see there's a search option. Select that. So now in the search bar, you can search for any state you are looking for. For example, if you want to search for California state, you can just type on California. So I have just typed CAL and it shows me California. That's an important feature that Power BI gives you. So let me now go ahead and create a simple table where we will see the quantity and the profit made in each city. So under visualizations, I'll select tables. Let me resize this. So under values, first I'll add the city column, followed by the quantity column and the profit column. Let's do some formatting. So under column headers, let me change the font color to white and let's add a background. Let me increase the text size also. Let's make it 15. Similarly, if you scroll down under values, let's increase the text size to 15 as well. And let's choose the font family. Let's take Consolas. So here you can see all the cities, the quantity sold in each city and the profit that was made in each of these cities. Now let me add a border to this. So now you can filter each of these cities by region or by state. For example, if I choose Central as my region, it will give you all the cities that lie in the central region. Similarly, you can also search for any state. For example, I am taking Minnesota. So under Minnesota, you can see all the cities and the quantity as well as the profit they made. Let me now uncheck the filters. Now let me go ahead and filter this table in terms of profit. So I'll sort by profit. You can see we have our cities sorted in terms of profit. So New York City made the highest amount of profit, followed by Los Angeles and Seattle. Below you can see the total units that were sold and the total profit that was made from all the cities. So you can also filter down the quantity sold and the profit made by each year as well as by region and state. So let's see. Suppose I am choosing East as the region. So under East, it tells you the states that are present. Let's go for Delaware and let's select 2016 as my year. So you can see the cities that lie under Delaware state and the quantity as well as the profit they made in 2016. Similarly, let's select Massachusetts as the state and let's go for another year, for example 2017. You can see all the cities that are present under Massachusetts, the quantity sold and the profit that was made. Below you can see the total quantity and the profit. Let me uncheck all these. Now moving ahead, let's analyze the sales by each state and the category of product. For this, we'll create a clustered bar chart. So under visualizations, I'll select clustered bar chart. Let me resize a bit. Under axis, I'll take the state column. I'll take category onto legend, and under values, I'll put the sales column. So you can see here, we have the sales for each category under each state. For example, California state made the highest amount of sales under technology category and it made the lowest amount of sales under office supplies. If I scroll down, you can see all the states and the sales they made for each category. I'll go back to the report. Now let's use some filters. You can filter here. For example, if I want to check the sales by each state and category for 2015, I can just click on 2015 and it will tell you the sales that were made. Now let's do some formatting to this bar chart. We'll change the colors for each of the categories. Similarly, we'll change the color for office supplies. And finally, for the technology. So now we have our bar chart ready. Moving on, now let me add a border to this bar chart. Okay. So now that we have seen our sales by state and category, let's now check the profit by year and category. For that, we'll create an area chart. I'll resize this chart. Now, under axis, I'll take the year column. Under legend, I'll take the category column. And under values, I'll take profit. And so we have our area chart that depicts the profit by each year and the category to which the product belongs to. I'll go to the Format tab and under Data Colors, I'll choose some colors. Let's change furniture to this blue color. I'll take office supplies a red color and technology I'll use a green color. So now you can use the filters. For example, you can check the profit that was made by each year and category under East region. So you can see here, in 2017, technology made the highest amount of profit while furniture had the lowest. Similarly, let's check for South region. So you can see in South region in 2016, technology made the highest amount of profit and furniture made the lowest. In 2017, Office supplies made the highest amount of profit and furniture was the lowest. I'll uncheck this South region filter. Similarly, you can also see the sales by each state. So under state slicer, you can choose whichever state you want and check the profit it made by that year or category. For example, I'll choose Connecticut. So you can see the profit Connecticut state made in each of these years. I'll uncheck it. Let us move ahead and now let's see profit that was made and the quantity that was sold by each category and subcategory of the product. So for this, I'll choose the line and clustered column chart. So I'll select from the visualizations. Now under shared axis, I'll select the category column. Under column series, I'll take the subcategory column. Under column values, I'll choose profit and I'll choose quantity under the tooltips. So now you can see the profit that was made under each category and the subcategory. For technology category, copiers subcategory made the highest amount of profit. The quantity sold was 234. Similarly, if you check for furniture category, we didn't make any profit for tables subcategory and as well as for bookcases. Under office supplies, paper subcategory made the highest amount of profit. Now let me go ahead and add a border to this. Fine. Moving ahead, now we will see the sales by each segment. For that, let's create a funnel. So from visualizations, I'll take the funnel and I'll drag segment onto group and the sales column onto values. So you can see here the sales that were made by each segment. This picture clearly depicts that consumer segment made the highest amount of sales. Next was corporate and then home office. Now let's do some color formatting. So the default color is this blue. I'll click on show all. Now we'll give individual colors to each of the segments. Using custom color, let's give a hexadecimal value. Similarly, we'll change the color for the corporate segment. And finally, for the home office segment. Now let me go ahead and give a border to it. So if you want to analyze the sales by segment and for a particular region or state or any particular year, you can do that. So let's select for East region and let's take New Jersey as the state for year 2014 suppose. So you can see here corporate segment made the highest amount of sales followed by consumer and home office. Let me uncheck these filters. So our second report is ready where we analyzed the sales, quantity, profit at region level, state level and by year. So I can rename this as region and state. Next, we will analyze the sales, quantity, profit in terms of categories and subcategory of products. So let me first copy this text box and create a new tab. I'll paste that text box here and change the title to say category and subcategory level analysis. First, we'll create a slicer where we'll take the category as filter. So if I want, I can directly copy it from my previous tab and change the fields. So let me copy this and paste it here. I'll sync it And let me remove the region field and add category onto the field. So you can see we have the 3 categories here. Let me copy paste this again, and let me take the subcategory now. So I'll select this and I'll drag subcategory onto the field. So here you can see we have all the subcategories, and above we have the categories. Let me resize this a bit. With that, now let's analyze the sales and profit by region and segment. To do this, we'll use a tree map. So let's see how you can build a tree map. Under visualizations, I have tree map. Let me select it. I'll move it to the top and expand it a bit. Now, under group, I'll select region column. Under details, I'll take segment. I'll take the sales column under values, and let's take profit onto tooltips. So if I expand this, you can see the sales and profit by each region and segment. For example, in the West region, you have consumer, corporate and home office as the segments, and you can see consumer segment made the highest amount of sales and profit, while home office made the lowest amount of sales and profit. Similarly, you can check for the other regions as well. Now let's give a border to this tree map, and under data colors, let me change the color of the regions. Scroll down, custom color. Let me choose my own color. Let's take this as a gray color. And finally, for the West region. So now you can select individual categories and subcategories to check the sales and profit by region and segment. For example, if I select furniture as my category, you can see the changes that were made to the tree map. You can also select office supplies and see how the sales and profit changes. Similarly, you can also go ahead and select whatever subcategories you want, and then check the sales and profit by region and segment. With that, let me now create a pie chart to see the quantity and the sales by each segment. So I'll go and select a pie chart. Let me resize this. If you want, you can increase the size of this tree map also. So let me go ahead and select segment onto the legend. Under values, I'll take quantity and sales under tooltips. So this pie chart depicts the quantity and the sales that were made by each segment. As you can see, consumer segment made the highest amount of sales and had the highest quantity sold, while home office had the least number of quantity sold and the least number of sales. Let's add a border and change the data colors. Similarly, I'll change the color for the corporate segment. Let's make this gray, and home office, I'll take the following color. Move this a little to the right. Now let's build a scatter plot to analyze the sales, quantity and profit by each subcategory. So under visualizations, I'll select scatter plot. I'll resize this. So I'll add subcategory onto legend. Then I'll add sales onto the x-axis, quantity sold onto the y-axis, and under size we'll take the profit column. If I expand this, you can see the sales, quantity and the profit that was made for each subcategory of products. You can see here, subcategory phone has given us a significant amount of sales with less number of quantities sold, and it has given us a good amount of profit also. Similarly, subcategory chairs has also given us good amount of sales with close to 2356 quantities sold and a good amount of profit. If you see this one, which is subcategory paper, it gave us less amount of sales with more quantities sold, while it gave us good amount of profit though. So you may promote phones or for example chairs to sell more, since it gives you more amount of profit with less quantity sold. Let's add a border to this. You can use the category filter. Suppose if I choose for furniture and expand this, you can see under furniture, subcategory furnishings gave us the lowest amount of sales with the highest number of quantities sold, but it gave us a decent amount of profit. Subcategory tables gave us a decent amount of sales with lesser number of quantities sold, but didn't give us any profit. Subcategory chairs gave us the highest amount of sales and also the profit. I'll uncheck this. Let's now create a line chart where we can see the profit by each year and quarter. So under visualizations, I'll select line chart. We resize this. So under axis, I'll take year. Under legend, I'll take the quarter column, and under values, I'll take the profit column. So now you can see the profit that was made each year and the lines depict each quarter. So if you check for 2014, quarter 4 made the highest amount of profit, while quarter 2 made the lowest amount of profit, while quarter 1 made the lowest amount of profit. Similarly, if you see for 2016, you can see quarter 4 made the highest amount of profit, while quarter 1 made the lowest. If you check for 2017, you see quarter 3 and quarter 4 almost made the same amount of profit, while quarter 2 made the lowest amount of profit. I go back. Now you can filter these by categories also. Suppose if I see for technology, you can check the amount of profit that was made in each year and in each quarter for technology category. Let's add a border to this. Likewise, we'll now create another line chart that will depict the sales by each year and quarter. So let me copy paste this. I'll drag this to the right. Now I'll remove profit from values and add sales. Let me uncheck this also. So here you can see we have the sales by each year and quarter. Now if you see for 2014, again quarter 4 made the highest amount of sales and quarter 1 in 2014 made the lowest. If you see for 2016, you can see 2016 also quarter 4 made the highest amount of sales and quarter 1 made the lowest. We'll go back. So our final report is ready, where we analyzed the sales, quantity sold, the profit at category and subcategory level. I can go ahead and rename this as category and subcategory. Let me save this. Now if you want, you can also filter it by subcategories. For example, if I select chairs as my subcategory, so for chairs you can see the sales that was made by each year and quarter. So in 2017, quarter 4 made the highest amount of sales, while quarter 1 made the lowest amount of sales for chairs. Similarly, you can select other subcategories also. For example, let me take some other category like machines. Let's see the profit now. So for machines subcategory, you can see in 2014, quarter 4 made the highest amount of profit, while quarter 3 made the lowest amount of profit. Now if you check for 2015, you can see quarter 3 made the highest amount of profit in shares, while quarter 1 made the lowest amount of profit. Let's uncheck this. So now we are almost done building our report using the Superstore sample dataset. So we have our 3 reports ready. You can see the first one was overall sales. The second report we created by taking region, state and the year as filters. So we had a region and state level analysis. And finally, we analyzed the sales quantity and the profit sold by category and subcategory. So I have arranged all these graphs and charts so that it looks a little better. Now let me go to this publish option on the top so that we can publish this report onto the Power BI dashboard. So I'll click on publish. I'll save it. You can select the destination. Here I have only one destination, which is my workspace. So I'll choose it and select. So there you go. Publishing to Power BI, it was successful. I'll close it and let me move to my Power BI service. I'll refresh it for once. So under my workspace, you can see we have the dashboard report. So below you can see there are 3 tabs that we created. The first one is overall sales. The second one is sales by region. And the third one is by category and subcategory. Now, to put these reports onto the dashboard, I need to pin each one of these visualizations. So let me pin one by one. So it asks where would you want to pin it to. I'll select the existing dashboard. Or better, let's create a new dashboard. Let's say Power BI dashboard, spin it. I'll close this. Similarly, let's spin the remaining ones. I'll select Power BI dashboard again, pin it. Let's spin everything. So this slicer, you can't pin it. Let's do the remaining ones. Same will do for the donut chart as well as for the pie chart. Now if I go to my dashboards and select Power BI dashboard, you can see we have a 1-page dashboard here. You can resize all the charts and graphs. Let me resize it and move it to the top. So we have our first canvas here, which tells you the overall sales, the profit and the units that were sold over different states, different segments and by categories. So one of the important features that Power BI service gives you is that you can ask questions about your data and it will tell you what the exact solution is. For example, you can see here you have a field where you can ask questions. So for example, if I type total sales and hit enter, so it tells you the total amount of sales that were made, which is $2.3 million. Similarly, if I want to find out the total profit, I can search for it here, hit enter. It will give you the exact amount of profit that was made. Let's do something else. For example, if you want total profit by say year, I'll hit enter. It gives you a nice line chart where you can see the total profit that was made over all the 4 years. Next, suppose I search for total quantity sold by segment. See, it gives me a bar chart where you can see the total quantity that was sold and it gives you a list of options where you can find out the total quantity that was sold by city, state, order ID, first name, last name, and many others. So consumer segment had the highest quantity sold. Let's see for something else. For example, if you want the total sales by, say, subcategory, I'll choose the first one. See, you have all the subcategories and the total sales that they made. So it's a very interesting feature that Power BI gives you. Go back. Now, if you want, you can go to the report menu, and if you want, you can pin the other visualizations as well. So another important feature about Power BI dashboard is that you can derive insights from the visualization. For example, if I click on these dots, there's an option you find, View Insights. I'll select it. So on the right, you can see Power BI has itself given us some insights from the data and the visualizations we have made. You can see sales by year and quarter, the sales by day of week and quarter, sales by shipment mode, where you can see the standard class ship mode made the highest amount of sales. You can also see the sales and count of city by year, and many more.
With that, we have come to an end of this session on what is data analytics and how to build dashboards in Power BI. If you have any queries regarding any of the topics covered in this session, or should you feel that you need the resources used in the session like the dataset, PPT, or anything like code, documentation, etc., then do let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts would be more than happy to resolve all your queries at the earliest. Until next time, thank you, stay safe, and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.